Guys, Alcieste is here. You're watching Sporting Icons.
Okay, so it's getting a little bit spicy between Fabio Wardley and Frazer Clarke. Mainly Fabio Wardley, we have to say. Now, Frazer Clarke, he put out a statement, if you like, where he's saying how he personally would love to fight with Fabio Wardley for the British heavyweight title. Frazer Clarke's team, again, this is according to Frazer Clarke, it appears that Frazer Clarke's team doesn't really want the fight yet. They want to wait until maybe like September kind of time. Which is going to be interesting because ultimately, whether it's Ben Shalom, Boxer, Sky Sports or 258 Management, they can all advise Frazer Clarke to not take the fight, but ultimately it's Frazer Clarke's decision. It's going to a purse bid, which would be Wednesday, today, 12:30 or 12 o'clock, thereabouts, lunchtime. So ultimately, it's only Frazer Clarke. He's the only one who has the power to say yes or no. Okay. Now, what's interesting about all that is that Frazer Clarke says all that, and Fabio Wardley, he's been trolling him, and it has been entertaining. It has been, posting pictures of Frazer Clarke in a pushchair with a dummy in his mouth, with Ben Shalom pushing him. I mean, I'd love to know who his editor is. It's brilliant. Or mind borrowing him. But it is spicing up. It really is spicing up, where Frazer is being accused by Fabio of pretty much hiding behind the skirt of his team. Almost saying that they will control and whatever else. But with the purse bid, now, firstly, the purse bid is an interesting situation because who's going to win it and how much they're going to bid? Listen, we'll find out in due course. Will Sky even make a bid? Because what we do know is that Sky, yesterday, Tuesday, they put in an offer to Fabio Wardley. According to Sky Sports, it was a record high offer, a record high purse for Fabio Wardley. Fabio Wardley has turned it down, saying that his last purse against, was it Michael Coffey, was bigger than the offer that they put in. Now, it is very, very good, shrewd business by Fabio to turn it down. If we're being honest here and unbiased, it is, because Fabio will know, and his team will know, as in Dillian White and, of course, Eddie Hearn, will know that Sky Sports, Boxer, whoever it is that Frazer Clarke is contracted to, he will be guaranteed a certain amount of money, okay, as per his contract. And with this particular purse bid, it's 60% to the champion, i.e. Fabio Wardley, and 40% to Frazer Clarke. So Sky Sports, Boxer, whoever is that's going to be put in the purse bid, if they put in the purse bid, are going to have to make sure that they put in enough that, knowing that Frazer Clarke gets 40%, which is what's in his contract, if that makes sense. So, for example, if Frazer Clarke, if it's somewhere in his contract that he would get, 40 grand for a 12-rounder for a British title, for example. I'm sure it's probably going to be a bit more, but just to simplify things for those who may not understand. So they will have to factor in that Frazer Clarke is guaranteed at least 40 grand. Okay? So therefore, they're going to have to bid at least 100 grand, knowing that Fabio will get 60 grand and Frazer still gets his 40. Now, it's probably going to end up being a bit more, and Frazer may end up getting like 80 grand, in which case Fabio will have to get 120 grand, 60-40 split. Do you see what I mean? So they have to make sure it's covered. Now, whatever offer it was that Sky Sports Boxer put into Fabio Wardley, Fabio is probably going, well, maybe if I accepted that offer, maybe I'll be getting less than Frazer. So let's just take it to purse bid. And it is probably the best way to do it anyway, the purse bid, because that way you're guaranteed more money. How many people are going to bid for it? Will Frank Warren and Queensby bid for it? Maybe. But it is spicing up, and it is getting very, very interesting. And I suppose what's really kind of like a bit weird about the situation is that Frazer, he put out that statement saying how his team are advising him not to take the fight, or however it may be. But it was actually 258 Management, his team, who petitioned the British Box Board of Control for Frazer to fight Fabio. So did they advise the British Box Board of Control, or petition to the British Box Board of Control for Frazer to fight Fabio for the British title without speaking to Ben Shalom, Boxer and Sky? Because if they did, they've played an absolute blinder. But firstly, if they're the ones now advising him not to take it, then why petition for it in the first place? I suppose that, there is that question. But they played a blinder, knowing full well that it going to purse bid will mean that Sky Sports, at a minimum, will have to ensure that whatever their bid is covers, or the 40% for Frazer Clarke covers what his contract rate is. So Sky Sports Boxing may look at that and go, but with Frazer getting 40%, where he's guaranteed X amount of money, will be, you know what, this fight isn't worth it. Knowing that we have to pay Fabio Wardley 60%, then they may well look at that and go, but that's too much money. This fight doesn't generate that money. Again, I don't know how much Frazer Clarke is getting. I have absolutely no idea. But it's going to be 60-40. Now, if Sky Sports choose not to enter the race and to place a bid, Boxer, if they choose not to place a bid, then again, it could potentially be a bit of an issue. Because if they underbid, knowing full well that whatever money that they bid, that 40% won't cover his wages from what he's entitled to, then Frazer could go, okay, so you've deliberately lost that purse bid. And it could create a little bit of friction. It could. Now, I imagine that Sky Sports and Boxer will probably bid quite high. I imagine they probably will. Now, maybe they've done all this as a way to create a bit of a ruse for Eddie Hearn and Matchroom to go, okay, maybe they're not actually going to bid. So therefore, we'll keep it low. Now, before anybody says anything about Frazer Clarke's contract, if of course you're thinking that about the 40%, you have to remember, if Sky Sports don't bid, and for example, Matchroom do, it won't matter how much Matchroom is, because it's still going to be 60-40 because he's not contracted to Matchroom. Okay? Now, I like the fight. I do like the fight, but I understand the hesitation with Frazer Clarke's team, because if he loses, it's a bad look. Listen, they're going to be confident, of course they are, but the fact that they want him to fight in September may be a bit of an issue, because if Matchroom win the purse bid, then they're looking to put the fight on in June or July at Portman Road, the Ipswich Town Football Club. So, I mean, what do you do then? What do you do then? Is Frazer Clarke then going to pull out of the negotiations, pull out the fight, knowing that he's probably not going to get a shot at the British title for like another year, because they could just freeze him out? They could, but anyway, I suppose we'll have to wait and see what happens with the purse bid. There's a lot of things to consider in this one. That's for sure. It's actually quite interesting. I find it quite interesting. But anyway, we'll find out, won't we? Lunchtime. Let's see who wins the purse bid. Who's actually going to put in the bids? Will Matchroom? Will Boxer? Will Queensbury? Will Probellum? Will some overseas promotional company put in a bid? Let's wait and find out. Drop your thoughts below. Click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you next video.